Look, old man, let's drop the act. My dad's the lieutenant governor. You give me a slap on the wrist. I walk out, and everyone pretends justice happened. Maxwell Drummond actually winked at the live courtroom camera, the one broadcasting straight into thousands of Rhode Island homes. Smile, Your Honor. You on TV. The courtroom went silent, not a breath, not a cough, just the steady red light of the broadcast camera capturing every second. This wasn't a regular hearing. This was Judge Frank Caprio's courtroom, watched daily by 127,000 Rhode Islanders. 9:47 a.m. on record. Defendant winks at broadcast camera, calls presiding judge old man. In the gallery, Lieutenant Governor Richard Drummond's face drained, his hands locked onto the bench, knuckles turning white. This wasn't the plan. This wasn't how it was supposed to unfold. His attorney, Sterling Worthington, grabbed Max's arm hard. "What are you doing?" he whispered. Max jerked away, still smirking. "Relax. This is how you play the game." But Maxwell Drummond had no idea Judge Frank Caprio had played this game for 40 years and never lost, especially not on camera. Judge Caprio removed his glasses slowly, deliberately. He looked at the camera Max had winked at, then at Maximum. "Mr. Drummond, you wanted the cameras to see this. Let's make sure they see all of it." What followed would hit 40 million views in 48 hours, and Maxwell Drummond would get exactly what he earned. But first, Caprio wanted Rhode Island to know exactly who was before him. He turned to the clerk. "Mr. Fitzgerald, read the charges. Slow. Clear. For the cameras." The clerk rose. "Case 2025 CR 0612. State of Rhode Island versus Maxwell Richard Drummond charges. Assault causing bodily injury, sexual harassment, disorderly conduct, resisting arrest." Max's smirk faltered, just slightly. Caprio leaned forward. "Let me summarize this for our viewers." He kept his voice steady, but every word landed heavy. January 18th, Harborview Grill. 9 witnesses. 9. Say the defendant grabbed a female bartender without consent. He touched her inappropriately, in front of customers and staff. When a server, Lucia Fernandez, told him to stop, the defendant punched her in the face. Max opened his mouth. Caprio's hand came up. "I'm not finished." He read from the police report, his tone flat, clinical. January 18th, 11:43 p.m. Defendant Maxwell Drummond struck victim Lucia Fernandez 4 to 5 times in the face and upper torso. Victim fell after first strike. Defendant continued assault until physically restrained by witness Kevin Okafor. Multiple witnesses confirmed the sequence. Caprio looked up. She suffered a broken nose, a fractured cheekbone, a black eye, bruised ribs, out of work 3 weeks, lost $2,100 in wages. She's a single mother of 2, ages 7 and 4. Max tried again. "Your Honor, that's a very one-sided. I said I'm not finished, Mr. Drummond. The cameras are rolling. Let them hear all of it." Caprio grabbed a remote, because the assault wasn't the only thing caught on camera. He clicked. The courtroom monitors lit up. So did televisions across Rhode Island. Max appeared on screen, drunk, staggering, restrained by officers outside Harborview Grill. His slowed voice blasted from the speakers. "Do you know who my father is? Lieutenant Governor Drummond. My dad will have your badges by Monday." An officer's calm reply. "Sir, you under arrest for assault. Please calm down." Max again. "I didn't assault anyone. I disciplined the help." The footage ended. Silence swallowed the room. Caprio's voice cut through it. "Discipline the help. That's how you describe beating a woman until someone tackled you to make you stop." Max's face drained. "I was drunk. I didn't mean, you were drunk. Your BAC was 0.21, triple the legal limit. But intoxication doesn't excuse assault. And it certainly doesn't excuse calling a working mother the help." Caprio lifted a thick folder from his bench. "And what you don't know, Mr. Drummond, is this isn't your first time. I did my homework." Max's color faded from pale to gray. "I don't know what you mean. Let me refresh Rhode Island's memory." Caprio opened the folder. 2019. University of Rhode Island. You vandalized Professor Chen's car after failing his class. $12,000 in damage. Officially, you were expelled. In reality, you were quietly transferred to Boston College. The professor mysteriously received an extra $50,000 in research funding. No charges filed. He turned a page, 2021. Newport. You assaulted a nightclub bouncer. 3 witnesses. All 3 recanted at the hearing. Charges dropped. Another page, 2022. DUI. You hit a parked car while drunk. The owner received a cash payout. Your charges were reduced to a traffic ticket. Next page, 2023. State House intern. Harassment. Unwanted touching. Threats. She filed a complaint. She was transferred out of state and paid $75,000 with an NDA. Caprio closed the folder. From 2019 to today, vandalism, assault, DUI, harassment, and now a second violent assault. 5 incidents in 6 years. And your total consequences. He stared straight at maximum 0. Caprio turned to the camera, his voice steady but cutting. For our viewers at home, this is what privilege looks like. This is what happens when someone has enough money and enough political pull to make consequences vanish. 5 incidents. 5 victims. 0 accountability. Until today. He faced Max again. And today, Mr. Drummond, the disappearing act ends. In the gallery, Lieutenant Governor Drummond wiped sweat from his brow. His wife, Catherine, wasn't present. She had a prior engagement. He sat alone, watching his carefully curated world collapse on live television. But Caprio wasn't finished that he wanted Rhode Island to meet the woman Max had called to help. Miss Fernandez, please come forward. A woman rose from the gallery. 28 years old. Small, quiet, composed. The bruises on her cheekbone had faded, but under the courtroom lights they still whispered their story. State your name for the record. Lucia Maria Fernandez. Miss Fernandez, Caprio said gently, tell Rhode Island what happened on the night of January 18th. Lucia took a breath. Her voice was soft, but unwavering. I've worked at Harborview Grill for 6 years. I know every corner of that restaurant, every regular customer. That night, I saw him grabbing Amanda, our bartender. She's 23. She kept trying to back away, but he wouldn't let go. Lucia continued her statement. I went over and said, Sir, please don't touch the staff. If you need something, I can help you. He called me to help. I told him if he didn't stop, I would call the manager. Her voice tightened, and then he hit me. Lucia paused, remembering. I remember tasting blood. I was on the floor, and he was still hitting me. I thought, I can't get hurt. My kids need me. Diego and Sophia, 7 and 4. If Kevin hadn't pulled him off, I don't know what would have happened. Caprio leaned forward. How has this affected your life? I was out of work for 3 weeks. I lost $2,100. I didn't have money for rent or groceries. I had to ask my sister for help. Ask my church for food. Her voice trembled. When I went to pick up my daughter from daycare, she didn't recognize me. She screamed. She's 4. How do you explain to a child why someone beat you for trying to protect another woman? She looked straight at the camera. I'm not the help. I'm a mother, a worker, a human being with a name, a family, a life. And he beat me because I asked him to stop hurting someone else. Subscribe if you believe patterns of abuse should never stay hidden. The room went still. Caprio removed his glasses, set them down carefully, then delivered the words Maxwell Drummond never expected to hear. Mr. Drummond, you walked into my courtroom today calling me an old man and winking at cameras like this was a comedy routine for your followers. You assumed your father's title would protect you. He paused. Let me tell you what happens now. Max's smirk evaporated. That's not remorse, Mr. Drummond, Caprio said. That's the realization your father can't save you this time. Officer Harmon cuffed Maxwell. Hands shaking, face pale. The cameras captured every moment, broadcasting live to 127,000 Rhode Island households. National replay hit 41.3 million views in 48 hours. Social media exploded. Old man became a meme within 90 minutes. Lucia Fernandez watched quietly as the man who called her the help was led away. Caprio addressed viewers. This is what justice looks like. No filters, no backroom deals. Most of the time, charges get quietly dropped. Victims silenced. Politicians make problems disappear. Today, nothing disappeared because you were watching. He turned to Lieutenant Governor Drummond. Your son assaulted a working mother. That's the pattern you enabled. 20 years of political power, 6 years of unchecked privilege. Today it ended on live television. The cameras don't lie. Neither does this court. The fallout was immediate. Within an hour, clips went viral across every platform. Tweets, memes, videos, millions of eyes on the humiliation and justice served. Social media metrics exploded. Judge Caprio trending nationally. Top clips racking up millions of views. Public reaction hit hard. 12:47 p.m. Lieutenant Governor cancels all public appearances. 1:15 p.m. Governor announces formal ethics investigation. 2:30 p.m. 3 state senators call for resignation. 3:45 p.m. Gubernatorial endorsements withdrawn. Justice, unfiltered and unflinching, had been served. The real change wasn't political. It was personal. During the live broadcast, while Lucia Fernandez testified about her bruises and her daughter's fear, viewers acted. A teacher from Warwick, Sarah Chen, created a GoFundMe for Lucia. By 10:30 a.m., $50,000. By noon, $150,000. By day's end, $340,000. Lucia saw the page in the courthouse. She cried. I never expected strangers to care, she said. She used the money wisely, paid $12,000 in medical bills, set up $50,000 education funds for each child, bought her first home, and donated $25,000 to help other assaulted service workers. Meanwhile, Maxwell Drummond faced real consequences. 6 months later, he stood trial in Rhode Island Superior Court. The evidence was overwhelming. 9 witnesses, restaurant security footage, bodycam video, the infamous old man wink. The jury deliberated 90 minutes. Guilty on all charges. Sentence: 2 years in Rhode Island State Prison, $85,000 restitution to Lucia, 500 hours community service, lifetime ban from her workplace, mandatory anger management, and 3 years supervised probation post-release. His first week in prison was a harsh lesson. His cellmate, a former Marine and ex-server, quietly told him, "You beat a server for doing her job. Eat your food and shut up." Max did. The fallout reached his father. The ethics investigation Caprio recommended revealed 6 years of interference, calls to prosecutors, witness pressure, payments to victims, judicial contacts. 6 weeks later, Richard Drummond resigned as lieutenant governor. No press conference. No questions. His 20-year political career ended because 40 million people watched him fail to protect his son on live TV. The Drummond dynasty, 3 generations strong, ended with a click of handcuffs. And Amanda Cho, the bartender Max had harassed, left Harborview Grill 6 months later. Lucia's courage inspired more than just her own survival. She shared part of the GoFundMe money with a young server who had been terrified that night. He enrolled in culinary school. Lucia stood up for me when I was scared, he said. She took a beating meant for me. I'm going to make something of myself because of her courage. Kevin Okafor, the server who tackled Max and saved Lucia, received the Providence Community Hero Award. He used the recognition and a small grant to launch the Service Worker Safety Alliance. We take care of each other in this industry, Kevin said. That's what Lucia showed me. That's what everyone needs to learn. Don't look away. 3 months after Max's sentencing, the Rhode Island legislature passed Lucia's law, enhanced penalties for assault on service workers, mandatory reporting for settlements involving public officials' families, and funding for legal aid for hospitality workers. It passed unanimously. Even Drummond allies couldn't vote no. Lucia moved into her first home on a Saturday morning in April. Diego and Sophia each had their own rooms. Diego hung sucker posters. Sophia painted a picture of the courtroom where Mommy won, insisting it go on the fridge. Judge Frank Caprio kept a framed image on his desk. Side by side, Maxwell Drummond winking at the camera, smirking, calling him old man. And 30 seconds later, the same Max in handcuffs. All arrogance stripped away. A daily reminder. The cameras don't lie, and neither does justice. Live television became the ultimate equalizer. Truth broadcast to millions is impossible to bury. And sometimes, Just sometimes, people get exactly what they deserve. Dramatization for storytelling and education, not legal advice or reporting.